Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alyssa and Katie, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
It's episode 67.
We're doing a really good job using our names.
At the beginning.
So they know. They know who we are.
We have been designated in the beginning of this episode. This episode is about follow-up.
I like it.
And I don't know what it's called because we're going to do follow-up to our listings, like our seller clients, and follow-up to our leads.
Yes.
Any type of lead, but lead follow-up and then actual while you're in the listing follow-up.
Sure.
Follow-up. Okay. What you got?
Obviously, I think this is really important.
Yes.
I also think it is the number one thing that falls off of our list when we get busy.
Oh, agree.
Because I do think that follow-up is like a proactive thing.
And I also think that you can over follow up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when people are slow, they're doing so much of it. And then when they're busy, they're doing none of it all.
Correct.
Got to be more consistent.
Yes.
Okay.
We already know how I feel about the 32 touches.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Nobody wants to be touched 32 times in a year. It's too much.
It's too much.
They're not going to like you.
Nope.
You're gonna become the annoying salesy person
right.
who's always showing up to get something.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And I do think like following up with people who are just kind of in the pipeline versus following up with your sellers that are just hanging out on the market.
Right.
Two very different things.
Totally different.
And with my sellers, I used to try to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
Like I actually at one point made a schedule.
I think I remember this.
Yes. And I was trying to think of something different to do every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And some of it was good.
Right.
I mean, but the fact that it never could be implemented shows
it wasn't effective.
It wasn't effective.
For your business. It could have worked, but you didn't have time for all that.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me where it's at then now, if you've gotten rid of the whole system.
So honestly, I just came to realize that all sellers really want is to hear from you.
Yep.
And providing them with real information.
Yep.
And the problem I was having before is that I was trying to invent a creative way to reach out or call them.
No.
And you don't need to do that.
No.
All they want you to do is call them and say, hey, I saw this house is pending.
Right.
I saw there's another new listing down the street. I saw this one sold for this.
Mm-hmm.
This makes me think our price might need to be here. How are you feeling? We've had this many showings.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to know
a recap, basically.
that you're aware of what's going on.
But how often do you do that now?
So I think it's okay to do every 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
When there's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are some weeks when I'm like, I don't need to call them because we've been in communication because we just had that showing and we discussed that.
Right.
And I don't need to, they know that I don't
need to invent something.
But this is more for like those listings that you have long term that you need to keep in touch with your sellers.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is that my sellers would be sitting there and say, where is she?
Right.
Like,
we don't even know.
We don't even know what she's doing. Is she doing anything? Like, I want them to know that I'm here.
Yeah, I agree. And so when I was thinking about this part of the follow-up, I do the same thing. If we've been getting showings and we've been discussing feedback or had some communication for another reason, like let's say they're looking for another house and we went out looking at houses.
Yes.
If I've talked to them in a week, then I don't need to do something else.
Right.
And I used to have the automated system that sent out a report on their neighborhood once a week at Remax, and now I don't. And I actually prefer that I don't have it because then it gives me the opportunity when it's gone a little while, a week or two, and I haven't talked to them, then I create the report. Mm-hmm. I tell them what I want them to know or what's going on in their neighborhood. Here are the houses that have become listed. Here are the ones that have gone pending. Here's the days on the market for you versus what's active, pending, and sold for the last 6 months. Like, here's where you stack up. And then, if it how are you feeling? Always ask them how they're feeling. Do you feel anxious? Are you not worried about timing? Do you want to get more aggressive? We can adjust. And then you open a dialogue, right?
Right.
And if they say we're fine, we're okay to wait. We don't want to change because really, if they say they're not fine, you either can change the price or change the condition.
Right.
So, or do both. But that's all you can do.
And this conversation doesn't have to be reinvented.
No, it doesn't have to be long either.
No, they just need to hear from you.
And you need to be able to give them an opportunity to voice concerns. So don't hide. I think what happens with most listing agents on a long-term listing that's not selling, they hide out.
Right.
They're afraid because they haven't sold the listing. And so they don't want to make contact with the seller and hear how angry they are. And honestly,
and then it's gone too long. Then how do you reach out?
Because then you're embarrassed.
It's been, so long.
You're like, well, I haven't talked to you. So I think every other week is probably a good rule of thumb on a listing that you haven't had other communication.
Yes.
And I really think it is just a matter of market reports. And if you're feeling like you have a seller that's putting a lot of pressure on you, go do an agent preview of the other listings. Literally go in there and be like, I went and looked at these houses. Or you could take it one step further and be like, do you want to come with me to look at this house?
Right.
You can see exactly what your competition is. But as long as you're giving them data information and asking them how they feel, I think that's really all you need to do.
Yeah.
On the listing side.
To communicate.
If you're doing an open house, then you get an opportunity to tell them who came.
Yes.
And what happened there.
And I like to I tell my sellers who are interested in open houses that I don't do them for the first 6 weeks because I want organic showings scheduled and I want to be able to track who comes through. Of course, open houses haven't been as much in demand because of COVID.
Right.
Like my sellers aren't as
they don't want them.
Yeah. But then I tell them, we're not doing them every Sunday.
No.
We're maybe once a month.
Yeah.
As the listing sits. But if we do them too many times, people don't come, the listing becomes stale. But nothing makes me more sad than an agent who's like, I've held this house open every Sunday.
every time.
Because really a house is always open.
Sure.
If it's for sale,
it's just a matter of calling the number on the sign.
Make an appointment and you can go see it.
At your schedule.
So I try to, communicate that too. And I like open houses because even if only one person comes through, the whole time I'm in the open house, I'll do a video walkthrough.
Right, you're getting some social media
some social media stuff that makes them happy. But also I'll even get the flyer or start an email to them. And because whenever I do an open house, I think we talked about this in the open house episode. Before I leave the house, I send them an email.
Yeah.
That says, hey, this many people came through. It might say, hey, one person came through, but here's some feedback.
Right.
That doesn't mean that person said it. But
here is some feedback.
Here's some feedback.
This is not a lie.
And it is all helpful. Hey, I think
actionable items.
Painting would help.
Yeah.
I do think removing this couch would help. I think blah, 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 whatever. So it's just more ways to
reach out. I think the other way to easily have a way to reach out is the way that you deliver the feedback when you have a showing.
Yes.
I think even showing time that we use, you can automate it to send to the seller automatically. I never do that.
Me either.
Never. Because
ever.
I want to, first of all, filter it.
Yes.
And frame it up.
Yeah.
And it is an opportunity to have a genuine, open dialogue, connection, follow up with that seller where you're like, hey, so, we've had the showing today. Here's the feedback. Maybe I've taken some of the mean stuff out. Maybe I've left it in. I don't know. And here's what I would do as a response to this feedback. If they're like, the yard isn't big enough, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about that. On to the next one. But I put in some niceties and I have sent the email.
Yes.
I don't want them to get it directly from the showing service because your sellers aren't dumb. They know it comes. If it comes directly from there, it came directly from there, you're still ghosted. You're gone.
Right.
I want to be the deliverer of the information.
Yes.
So I think that other than that, and keeping them up to date on the market.
Yeah.
That's really all you can do.
And it's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to host a circus at their house or, have
host a circus.
Yeah. Hey guys, come pet the donkey and see the, you don't need to see the house.
All that. Right.
No, I mean.
No, you don't. You don't. But if you've had an agent reach out to you about the house or something that they didn't know, I would share that.
Sure.
Like, I've had some interest, or they might schedule a showing, or like, that kind of stuff.
So that's one thing that I have always tried to be intentional about, is that all those little bitty things
that you're doing,
they don't know that.
Nope.
But the moment an agent texts you and says, hey, how much is the flood insurance on this house?
Mm-hmm.
To shoot them an email and say, hey guys, I had an agent reach out today and inquire about the flood insurance. I answered her questions and she's getting with her client. Maybe it will result in a showing, maybe not, but I just wanted to let you know.
Perfect.
And do that every single time. Whether it's a, hey guys, the internet lead came through on this property. Hey guys, someone messaged me on Facebook about this property.
Yeah.
Just so they know, because they don't know.
They don't know. And I think those internet inquiries are good too, even if you just show them the stats of from your MLS, how many times it's been viewed, or from Zillow, how many times it's been viewed. If you can share some sort of online stats, they're going to like that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all I've got on listings.
Yeah.
Okay. Check. Now, how to follow up with leads. I'll do my air quotes. Leads. And I first want to talk about what is the difference between a lead and someone that is in your database.
Okay.
So your person. I have some qualifying questions when I decide if I'm putting someone in my database or if they're more of a lead or prospect, is what I like to call them.
Okay.
Okay. Here are the questions. You cannot go on my database unless I know you.
Right.
So I've had to probably meet you.
Is your database like who gets your Christmas card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the people I'm going to follow up with in a more personal manner.
Yeah.
So past clients, current clients that I know, someone that I've met and expressed interest in real estate, but that I know, know.
Yeah.
Do I like them?
Yes.
So do I know them? Do I like them? Do I feel comfortable sending them a text, an email, talking to them on social media, or calling them?
Okay.
If I can't do at least one or two of those things, you don't belong on my database yet.
Right.
Because those follow-ups are more personal. Then, do I feel comfortable asking for your address? You can't be on my database without your address.
Right.
And if I'm not in a place where it's appropriate to ask you for your address, then you're just a prospect.
Yes.
You're not a database member yet.
Right.
So I'm going to put that to the side now. Just wanted to clarify that.
And as you're talking, I'm thinking of it as like in the systems episode and Trello and all of that. When I talked about in my notes, I used to label them like my A people, my B, my C's, my D's. And like my people who are actively looking for a house that I'm actively showing property to, obviously they're my A's and B's. But my C's and D's are people that I have put in the prospect portion of my Trello. And I'm telling y'all, if you haven't yet, when you start writing them down, there will be so many.
There's a lot. And that's not even counting like random online leads.
Right. And I'll put them in my prospects.
Okay. Right.
Just with like, maybe like Bob online lead.
Came from this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so because you need to, it gets to be so much that like you don't realize how many leads you're actually getting until you write it all down. And leads can be, hey, be on the lookout for a call from my brother James.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I haven't talked to James.
I need to write that down.
Yeah.
And then if in a week I can reach out to her and say, hey, did your brother end up needing help? That's follow up.
That is follow up.
But if you haven't written it down anywhere,
you won't remember who to follow up with.
You will never do it.
Yeah. I also don't think you need to follow up with every human you've ever met.
No.
So there's got to be some qualifying questions to get them on the prospect list too. Like, did they express an interest in real estate? Is their mom an agent? You probably don't need to put them on there. Like, they're just within your boundaries. You would know if someone would maybe be a good fit as a prospect.
Sure.
But I have a list of some of what those might be. Open house leads.
Yeah.
Sign calls.
Okay.
A geo farm, like if you've been sending out postcards or something and you get a call. An online lead, dependent. If you catch a lot of online leads on your website or your rental listing on Zillow or whatever it is, you're going to have to start to make choices. You can't just follow up with every single one of them. Social media, and this would be someone that maybe has expressed interest in real estate on social media, but you haven't built a relationship with. So it's not like your aunt who you're also friends with on social media that reached out to you about real estate. It would be someone who found your Instagram page and asked you a question about real estate, but you wouldn't feel comfortable asking them for their address.
Right.
So they might be a prospect or a lead.
Yeah, I mean, I love cleaning out.
All right, tell us about that.
My Trello and my database.
Do you do some type of follow-up pre-clean out? Like, do you reach out again? What happens?
I will do a final reach out.
Okay. What happens in that?
It kind of depends, but sometimes it says, hey, I didn't know if you still needed assistance in buying a home. If you do, I'm happy to help. If not, I have no problem taking you off my follow-up list.
Okay.
Either way, I'm here if you need me. I like saying things like, I can take you off the follow-up list.
Right.
I want them to know, like, I'm a professional.
Right.
And I'm doing my job.
Right. And I'm not trying to harass you.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job. Or sometimes I'll say, hey, I'm updating my files and I remember you said.
I like that.
Yes, I use that one a lot. I was updating my files and I remember you said, and then I just say what they said, that you wanted to buy at the end of this year, that you wanted to do this, that you wanted to do that. Is that still the plan?
Right. Where are you in the process? Where are you?
And then the next time, and then there are repeats that never respond.
Okay.
So when I get those, I mean, I work them pretty hard before I delete them.
Okay.
But when I say pretty hard, it doesn't take a lot of time.
Right.
It just means that when I'm doing that cleaning house, I shoot them a text or an email, or like I try to, if they haven't responded via email, maybe I should text them. Or if they didn't respond to email or text, then I'll call them the next time.
Got it.
But then at some point, I'm like, I need to designate my energy and resources to people that are responding.
Right.
And after so long, I'll say, like, before I delete them, I'll say, hey, and I won't obviously tell them I'll be deleted, but
you're getting deleted.
Yeah, I'll just send the email one more time. Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm here if you need anything. I know you weren't in a big hurry, but just wanted to make sure you knew I was available. And that I may send that email and then delete them from my database.
And then if they respond later, you just put them back on.
Yeah, but if they don't, I know that, like, and I don't really say like 5 times and they're gone.
Right.
It kind of just depends on, like,
how you feel about it.
Yes, like, what have I said?
How did it start off?
How did it start off? Do I think that there's potential here?
Because sometimes the hottest people are the ones that once they ghost you, you're like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to work with me.
Yes.
Or like something's off. And then after you did your 1 or 2 emails, you'd be like, okay, we'll delete.
Right. Like, I have a young guy. He's so sweet. I met him through this class that we took at church. And he lives with his mom, and he was really nervous about buying, and we looked at a few houses, and he always brought his mom, and his mom clearly doesn't want him to move out.
Because she likes him at the house.
So she's always like a deal killer.
Oh, my word.
And then he would go like 6 months without responding to me. And then randomly he would say, what about this one? So, okay, on the follow-up note, when I'm working with buyers who are actively looking and are ready to write an offer, I create a search for them in MLS. It's very specific.
Yeah.
I don't want it to email them 5 houses a day, 10 houses a day, 20 houses a day. I want it to be the areas that they want with the criteria they want. Eliminate subdivisions if I have to.
Yeah.
It's very precise. It takes about 45 minutes to set up a search.
Okay. Do they get, how often? Is it immediate?
If there's only like 15 houses that meet their criteria, I set it up on immediate.
Okay.
If it's like, if I have narrowed it down and there's 40, then I do daily at 9 a.m.
Okay.
To just every day, here's the group. Because
it's a group.
Okay. I don't want them to get 7 emails a day.
Oh, no, too much.
If
that's overwhelming.
So now, majority of the time, I have it sent to me first.
Okay.
People are like, that's so much work. It's really not.
Right.
I just open it, and if I have been in communication with them and this house is not the one, I just delete the email.
Yeah.
if I haven't really been able to send them anything in a while, I say, hey guys, I saw this one popped up.
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't have the shop, but I just wanted to let you know I'm still here. I'm still looking.
Right.
Just not a lot of inventory right now.
Yeah.
To which they usually respond, thanks so much. Yeah, we're looking too. No luck. Something will pop up.
Okay.
But it's just a way for me to follow up.
Yes.
Now, with like my young guy over here, I had that going because we were looking. But when I realized he was at a place where I don't think he's ready, I did set it up to just go to him.
Not to you.
And I didn't send it to me at all.
So, right. Well, okay.
I didn't even like copy myself on it. I was just letting him get the appropriate
Wait for him
emails.
to raise his hand.
Yes. And that is what he does. Like, he will occasionally respond and ask a question. And then recently he said, hey, do you mind setting me up on another search that increases the budget like 20 grand? He was like, I don't think I would want to go that high, but I'm curious what the market offers.
If I do. Okay.
So I was like, oh, hey, haven't heard from you in a few months. I'm glad you're still looking. I think that's a smart idea. Set him up on a search. It goes to him. So you kind of, your time is valuable.
Yes.
And so I want the buyers that I'm actively working with to know that I am filtering.
Doing something.
And I'm involved. It's not just auto. They know it's auto.
They know it's auto.
And some people, that's okay. But some people, I really want to make sure they know that I am like.
Okay, but when you say that's like your buyers that are actively looking, so your hot buyers, I mean, how many of those do you feel like you're working with at a time?
7 or 8.
I mean, that's a good number of people that could at any moment call you to do a showing.
Yes.
Okay, so you're filtering, that email is coming to you first. It is not every person who's ever said,
no,
set me up on a search.
No.
It's just the people who were literally looking.
Yes.
Okay.
Like actively.
And if they stop looking or stop responding, you might leave them on the search, but you'll stop getting it.
Yes.
I like that.
So that's kind of how I rate them by priority.
Okay.
Like, these people are actively looking.
Yeah.
And the email reminds me about them.
Right.
As much as.
Yeah. When I have active people, I do the same thing for the people that are active and in a trickier, like, it's hard to find what they want.
Yes.
Because I want to be sure if it comes up, I see it and we address it quickly. But I have more of them that are just on a search and have been chilling on their search for you know, a couple of years.
Yeah.
They're just whatever.
And like, our MLS will even notify you if it's been a year.
Oh, yeah. And they haven't done anything.
Yeah. And it'll say, hey, do you want to renew this search? And that might be my time.
Yeah.
To say, hey, I saw it's been a year since I set you up on that search. Do you want me to change anything on it?
Yes. The other thing that our MLS does that I like and prompts me to follow up appropriately is if they hit the favorite button on a house in their search, then it sends me an email that says, so-and-so has favorited this house. And that will typically jog my memory to be like, well, I'm going to follow up with you now. And I'll be like, hey, I saw you like the house on Main Street. That's awfully cute, blah, blah, blah. Are we ready to do a showing? Or do you have questions? Do you want a property? Sometimes I'll just send a property disclosure. But like, that's a way to follow up where you're doing something of value that makes sense to what they are doing.
Well, you know, I personally am not a fan of like newsletters, recipes, client events.
Right.
Like, I'm not an event planner.
Right.
I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
I
will
sell
find you a house.
Yes. I do not hire Santa to come take all the pictures and like have bunnies everywhere for Easter and corn. Like, I'm not a photographer.
Right.
I am a realtor.
Right.
And I do my best and to handle the volume to stick to my job.
Yeah.
And I do understand the reason people want to do the creative marketing and things like that.
Yeah.
But in my brain, I just know that if they were really focusing on their people and cut out some of the fluff, they would have more time for personalized follow-up.
Right.
Like the agents that are like, you go to your home inspections and you filter your buyer houses before it goes to them. How do you have time for that? I'm like, I have time for it because I'm not event planning and hosting these big client appreciation parties.
Or doing an agent open house every single week.
Yeah. Like, if you cut out the fluff, you can really give people the attention that they want. And that's how you can get the referrals.
Right. Well, that's what I was just about to say. It goes back to also you're hyper focused on how you're serving your current clients that are already under contract, because that is the relationship building that will lead to referrals and repeat business. And then you don't need to even be doing these other prospecting activities that take time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can obviously easily forward an MLS listing email to 8 people.
Sure.
Because it's not every day, all day.
Right. It's not a big deal.
I mean, because you've specialized their search enough to where they're not getting that many.
I would say as I'm working between like, let's just say eight active buyers who I'm getting emails
right
for their houses. I would say I get 3 or 4 emails a day.
Right.
That I forward to them. Not the same
it's
people.
Only coming to you though. It's not going to them until you send it. Yeah. Got it.
Now I do up front in the template, happy house hunting, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Rules say you will send me houses
and I
will send you. This is a team effort.
Right.
Like if you see a house that catches your eye, send it to me.
Yeah, I need to know what it is.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So they aren't just not, sitting around not
right.
We all know that they are browsing all sites all day long.
Looking for the secret listings.
Yes. And there's a reason they haven't sent you any.
They didn't like them.
And then they know there's a reason that you haven't sent them any.
Right.
Because they haven't seen anything either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's why I also don't want it to just automatically email them garbage or then be like, did she even listen to me?
Right. This isn't what I want.
This isn't what I want.
Yeah, with your pretty picture on the bottom.
Yeah.
Here's a bunch of houses you don't want.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Hello, friends. We are so excited that so many of you are using the template course, and the reviews are just pouring in, letting us know that it has helped your business as much as it has helped our business.
Yes, listen to this review. Thank you so much for providing this wealth of information, knowledge in template form. So far, I've used a handful and received positive feedback like, this is so professional, or I really appreciate how organized you are. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah,
your clients are actually going to say that.
Yes.
All right, here's another one. Thank you so much for this. I can't tell you how many times I've started this and how many notebooks of samples and notes I had. I have ADHD and it is super hard to stay focused on getting it done. Having it all in one place is going to make it so nice.
That is what we're here for.
I know, just look, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just use these.
Yeah, nice and simple, easy, ready to go, ready for you to put your own logo on, make it sound like you. So head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/course and check it out.
That's right.
And you're going to enjoy them. You're going to love them.
You're going to
love it. Change your life.
Literally fired my assistant. They are the best. Okay,
enjoy the template.
Yes, enjoy.
Okay, so how often would you say you're cleaning out your prospect list? Like, how often do you go to that part of Trello and actually follow up and then clean out?
I would say at least once a month.
Okay.
I do set like a...
You have a reminder? Oh, I like that.
That like once a month, I need to go in, open it, sit down. But then also so my database, which is my Excel spreadsheet, which has like past clients. These are not clients anymore.
Right.
Sure, they can be future clients.
Yeah.
And like my grandma's in my database because she gets a Christmas card. So like this is just everybody I know and love that is going to get a Christmas card from me. I clean that out every Christmas.
Right, when you're doing the cards.
When I'm doing the cards. Because I'm going through, I'm making sure, like, for example, I had like, I'm just going to make up a name, but like Uncle John in my database.
Okay.
With his address. Well, Uncle John moved. But I had added him to the bottom of the database as his real name, like John Smith.
Okay.
So I had him in there twice.
Oh, Lord.
But forgetting that I had him in there as Uncle.
Got it.
So I had to delete that one. So that address, his old address, didn't get another Christmas card.
Got it.
And like I go through, because I mean, I have about 400 people.
It's a lot.
In my database. And I try to keep it around there. Like I really don't want much more than that.
No, I know.
And if it's a past client from 7 years ago that moved to Texas that has never responded to a whatever, I just delete them.
Yeah.
Like
it's okay.
Fine. It's okay.
It's okay. Fine. I think it's okay to let them go. When we start to hoard people and email and contact info, like Like, it's valuable. That's where we get confused, and that's when we stop doing follow-up because we think there's too many people to follow up with. If you go through and qualify them and then rethink about them in these like terms, there's not too many people to follow up with.
It feels really good to let go.
Oh my gosh, so nice.
And to know I did everything I could, but it is time, and now my energy is best served elsewhere.
Right.
It's a good feeling. I have served on panels before where, the question was like, oh, talk about your database. And like, everyone's like, oh, I have 5,000 people in my database. And everyone's like, ooh, that's amazing. Right. And then I'm just like rolling my eyes like,
how do you do that?
That's garbage.
Right.
You can't talk to 5,000 people.
It's just collecting up humans.
And if you ever wanted to mail them anything, your postage would be astronomical.
Outrageous. And what a waste.
Yes. And like, I felt when I got to my part, it was like 400.
And they were all like,
yeah, it was literally like crickets and like, looks from the other panelists. And then I explained like, I believe my referral and repeat business is my goal. And so I clean out my database and I let people go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have 4,000 leads.
I can't follow up with that many people.
And I don't want it.
No.
And that doesn't mean I give up. I give it good effort and call it a day.
I'm going to tell you, I will come at it from a place of when I was getting online leads, those numbers increased pretty fast. I mean, there was a large portion of my early career where they were coming in like 100 a month. Okay. So imagine by the time, oh yeah. And there is no way to follow up with 100 people, and online leads turn at about a 5% rate. Okay. But there's no way to really follow up with that many people consistently. All I could do was put them on an MLS search and wait for them to raise their hand because I'm constantly having more come in.
Yeah.
But the point of this story is that when I changed brokers this year, I had 6,000 people in my online CRM database through Remax.
Oh
there were 6,000 people, and they were online leads over the course of 14 years, and plus past clients. Everybody was in it, but mostly they were online leads. And I am not here to say some of them didn't turn. A few of them did. But it was not worth it for me to just keep adding them in because I couldn't follow up with anyone. And all I ever felt like was stress and anxiety that I had all these people that I was not working appropriately.
You feel like a failure.
Well,
because you can't convert anybody.
Why? How could you? Because what are the odds that if you've got 6,000 emails that you randomly pick the right person to follow up with and do it the way you should?
Yeah.
And I hadn't had conversations with all those people. They literally typed their email address in and asked for, XYZ house search.
Yeah.
That's it. That's not really even a prospect or a lead.
Yeah. So, like, let's just say, like, you get a sign call.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, first of all, I go through my buyer intake sheet with them on the phone. If they're not willing to...
That's your list of questions.
It's my list of questions.
Okay.
So if they're not willing to answer anything, all they were willing to do was tell me their name and their phone number, that's not a lead or a prospect.
Right.
If you're not willing to give me your email or tell me what you're looking for or answer any questions about what's going on, then you don't want to work with me.
Right.
I can't get it out of you. I'm going to try. Okay. Then I'm not going to take down your name and number and call you back next week.
Yes, you didn't want to talk to me now.
You don't want to talk to me. So you get ousted. But typically, if you approach it right, and I get a sign call, and I've turned plenty of them. If you'll answer the question, then you're a lead.
Right.
Okay. Then you can go on the prospect list, or I'm using your Trello method now, which I like. So they can stay on the prospect in Trello and maybe get put on an MLS search if we've discussed it on the phone and they tell me what they're looking for,
criteria.
Then I can do it. That's fine. If they never respond again and 6 months or a year passes, then maybe it's time they get removed. But I'm a lot less of a people hoarder now because the people who want to work with me find me.
Sure.
And I don't need to harass people who happen to call me from a sign call. And that's why it's so important to ask them if they're working with an agent.
Yeah.
Like, don't waste your time or their time following up if they already have an agent. Just move on.
It's okay. But we're giving you permission to let go of the ones that are weighing you down.
Yeah.
Because you need the positive, uplifting clients that want to work with you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean like if it's hard, cut them loose.
No, and I will tell you this. I had just great story. I have a sign call that came in like 2 years ago. On a listing, asked questions, was willing to answer my questions. We would go and see a house every so often.
Okay.
She was waiting for her son to graduate from school, so when she told me that, we kind of put it on hold until he was graduating because she didn't want to sell the house she was in until then. Then every once in a while, she would text or email me because I was still sending her the listing.
Sure.
And she would respond and be like, I like this one, or I ran to the open. She loved to go to an open house.
Yes.
I went to an open house on that one. I didn't like this, that. So we were in an online search. We were in an online search love affair for 2 years.
Right.
Finally, son graduates. She has me come to her house, is doing her homework to get it ready. We list house, find house. Oh, this all happened this year. Buy house, happy, wonderful. Pass client. Check.
Yeah.
2 transactions off of a phone call. But I also didn't allow her to let me take her to every open house she went to.
Right.
That would have not been appropriate.
Let's go back to client management.
Right. So the follow-up there was simply an MLS search. And if she reached out to me, I would respond to her.
Yeah.
And then when it came to the time frame she said he was graduating, I just checked in.
Sure.
Hey, son's graduating this year. How are you feeling? And she would be like, oh, I'm still working on my to-do list. I'm not in a hurry. Fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would make myself another note. And my prospect, like hot prospect list, is very short. It's enough to fit on my little one sheet, which is my like schedule for the week, and then my what's pending, what's listed, and who I'm following up with.
Sure.
There's probably never more than 20 people that I would follow up with every single week.
Well,
at
that's
any
the
given
thing
time.
is like I feel like some people who know me would be surprised to know that you have 7 to 8 buyers,
Right.
but that's not. I have like 20 to 25 buyers at any given time.
Right.
7 to 8 of them have done what I told them to do.
Right. And are looking.
And that I have met my criteria to show them houses.
I like that.
The others may be serious, but they have not yet met with the lender.
Right.
Really nailed down a time frame. Like, we're not going to go looking if we have no plan.
Right.
That's just going to frustrate me. It's going to frustrate them. They're going to get exhausted, and then it's not fun anymore.
No.
So it's like 7. When I say 7 to 8, I mean they have done all their homework.
Right.
We have a deadline.
Yeah.
We know their budget down to the penny.
Right.
Those are my regular that we are like, and hopefully they rotate once they're on that hot sheet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they're only there for a month or 2.
I was going to ask.
Before we have found something.
Yeah.
Now, there are times when they get moved to...
Yeah. Something changes. Whether that's, since we didn't find the house we were looking for, we're going to renew our lease for 6 months. Yeah. Or we're going to renovate our current home.
Yes.
Or like
whatever it may be. You know? But my goal is that if you're really like on that hot sheet, you're ready to buy. And my goal is that we're going to be under contract in a month or 2.
Okay. I like that. Tell me how you would then follow up with like an open house lead or a sign call. What are you doing?
So when I was new, I like stalked the people that signed in at my open house and wrote them a thank you letter.
Yeah.
Like I found their address and I kind of knew where they lived because I asked at my open houses, do you live in the area?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And then I usually say, are you renting there or do you own?
Right.
When I'm at an open house or a sign call, before I jump into like, do you have an agent?
Mm-hmm.
Are you pre-approved? I try to ask the questions of like, oh, okay, well, did you like that area?
Right.
Is that why you called about this house? Because there's others in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Do you live in the area now?
Right.
I just try to be super friendly and approachable.
Yeah.
Before I jump into, asking questions about money and things like that. But for the open houses, so when I was new and had no listings of my own, I targeted like an area for open houses and was collecting the names.
Yeah.
And would write them thank you letters. I would send them an email inviting them to my next open house because it was in the area because I was staying in the area.
Yeah.
And I had a good little database going.
Yeah.
And got some. But it is so funny. I think I've shared this before. The open houses where I was the least prepared
are the best ones.
Like I was running late. I didn't get dressed how I wanted to. I don't have a flyer because the printer, whatever.
You're like, I'm just here.
I am here. those are the ones where people are like, I like you.
Can we work together?
Can you be our agent?
Sure can.
I will never forget. I was in Shenandoah, and it was one of those days. I had been at brunch. It ran over. We didn't get our ticket in time. I wanted to go home and change first, and I just had to run straight to the house. I was 5 minutes late. Luckily, no one was there yet. I'm turning on the lights. This couple comes in, and they asked me a question, and I'm like, I'm not sure, but I'll definitely, check that out and get back to you. I don't have a sign-in sheet.
I don't know what's going on.
They loved me, and I listed their house down the street, and then they bought with me, and then they referred their son and their daughter to me.
Worked out great.
It's just so funny how that all works out. But normally now, I just want them to have my information.
Right.
And make sure that they know I am here if you need me.
Right.
If you have, I let them know I don't just represent this house.
Yeah.
So I think of it more at this stage in my career. I'm okay with just forming the connection and leaving it in their hands.
Yeah.
Now, if things got really slow,
that's what I was about to say. It's because you don't have time for more follow-up than what you're already...
Well, it's like
you can...
Like an open house person would be like a bonus at this stage in my career.
Exactly. Okay.
When I was new, I needed...
Yeah, then you follow up harder.
Yes. At this... But it's funny because I have seen it work both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like I feel like I have made it to this level where...
I'm too good to follow up with an open houser.
Yeah. No. Like, I don't feel that way. It's just that I have seen it also work.
Right. Where you're like, here's my information.
Here's my card. Like, I know they have a flyer, but I do try to, like, let them leave with a card, something smaller they can put in their wallet.
Yeah.
And just saying, if there's any other houses in the area, let me know. And honestly, I feel like I get more emails.
Do you?
That way. Like I just did on my Tiger Bin listing. But a guy came through. I was really just there that day for my seller doing the open house. Yeah. I wasn't necessarily there to like prospect and get new clients and whatnot. But I gave him my card and I said, yeah, if you have any questions about anything, I can help you with anything in the area. I'm a full-time agent. I'd be happy to help you.
Right.
He emailed me and was like, hey, one of my friends is kind of interested. I told him I met you today. So I have seen it work.
Right.
And depending on where I'm at that day, depending on where I'm at in my career. But what do you do?
I have for open house, I have a sign-in.
Yes.
And if I'm having a decent conversation with the person and learning enough about them and they put in their email, then I would, anyone who puts in their email, I follow up and say, thank you for coming. Okay. But if we talked about something that I could actually hold on to, like I know you live in X neighborhood and here, I might then send them a market report on their neighborhood. Or maybe I would set them up on a search if they tell me more about what they're doing. But, and I have looked up addresses before from an open house and sent a thank you. Like if I had a decent talk with someone, I knew where they lived, I had the time, then I would, and that's not necessarily when I was brand new, probably when I was later on. If I like someone that I meet in an open house and I think we'd be a good fit to work together, then I'd probably follow up a little more thoroughly. Sure. If someone is really tentative about putting their email address on there, I'm not going to send them 10 emails. No. I mean, I will send the one. And if they respond, great. If they don't respond, you're not on my prospect list. Right. Like we have met. It wasn't a fit. I would rather go do another open house, honestly.
So recently, I had someone that had been in the prospect pipeline for a while.
Okay.
They would respond every now and then, and I was still like when I would do my database clean out, I would just email them and say, hey, I know you're still getting the property sent to you. If you need me to change anything in the search, let me know. I'm here if you need me.
Right.
That's how the majority of my follow-up. And I do try to rotate. Like if I emailed them last.
You're changing the way.
I'm trying to, because like maybe they got a new email.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times people get, like we aren't used to that because we have the same email address. But I've had clients like teachers.
Yeah.
Every time they switch school,
different email.
It's a different email.
Yeah.
So, but I got a notification from MLS that was like, Samuel has unsubscribed.
Oh, yeah. Then you
So,
send an email?
I'll just send him one last email.
I do too.
But that's also my way of like deleting him.
Like, hey,
yeah,
you said no. That's okay.
That's okay.
Goodbye.
Yeah, yes.
Goodbye.
But I'll say like, hey Sam, I saw that you unsubscribed from the listings. I just wanted to see if you still needed any assistance with buying a house. If you do, I'm here. If not, that's totally fine. I don't mind taking you off my follow-up list. I hope you're having a great week.
Right.
I'll send that email and then I'll delete him from my prospects list.
Yeah.
And again, it just makes me feel like, I'm pleading.
Well, it's sort of like checking it off the list whether you sold him or not.
Yeah, I followed through to the end.
I did everything I needed to do. You're done. I think that's fine. I think people do try to overcomplicate the follow-up.
Yes.
And I think that a well-created MLS search is adequate follow-up for a buyer lead.
Mm-hmm.
I especially like what you're doing where you're actually filtering a little bit beyond that. I don't think that it requires a lot of crazy creativity just reach out and say, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, that's all.
Do you need me? And if you don't respond, that's okay, but you can still do that. And when I was working online leads in the beginning, I would take all these webinars on how to follow up and, basically how to be inside sales, right? Like
so much effort.
It's a lot of effort to get these people to turn. And if you like rejection, then you can keep on that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great for me. I just waited till they raised their hand. And you know what? It worked fine.
It's fine.
It worked fine. They were on the search. They saw my face. If they raise their hand, great. If they don't, I'm doing other stuff.
I think one of the reasons too that I am the way I am is because I can't do to others.
Right.
If I don't want someone calling me all the time, I can't call you all the time.
No.
And also, I have had agents come to me that have worked with other agents.
Yeah.
And I hear their feedback.
And what is like,
oh, they send me like 70 houses a week and I'm always getting emails and
so many.
Like it's too much and I don't feel like I have any direction or like I don't want any more recipes in my email. Like I'm not looking I didn't sign up to learn how to cook and get a newsletter. I signed up because I wanted to know how to buy a house.
Right.
So I hear that and I just want to keep it simple.
Right. I think that the general public appreciates the simplicity. I don't think they're looking for a giant newsletter every week or month or any of the other fluff stuff.
Right.
I
would agree with that. I don't need it.
No.
If I wasn't a realtor, I wouldn't want that in a realtor.
No. Be available. And if you feel like you have extra time on your hands, go listen to database again.
Yeah.
And work on those people. Because that's different. That's building a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not following up.
Now, even though Trello is like my people, my clients, like those are people that are going to buy or sell with me.
Mm-hmm.
But your database is who you need to be asking for referrals.
Yep.
So it's okay. So every year, I think I talked about this in the holiday episode, I write a handwritten card to my thank you card to my database.
Yeah.
It's about 350 handwritten cards because I don't write ones to my grandma and my, you know what I mean? Like
you don't need that.
Yeah, you're fine. But like any past client that I like loved, and I have to like I've already started.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I start in September.
Oh wow.
Handwriting them. And then like the week before Thanksgiving, they all get mailed.
Yeah.
But I also like Christmas because everybody in the whole database gets a family Christmas card. And like the ones that come back,
where
like, wait a minute.
Where did you go?
Yeah, what happened? Why is this address wrong? Did you move? And I didn't know. Like it's also like a good way to clean out your database.
Yeah.
Is to do a mass mailer.
Yeah.
And someone said if you get more than 10 back, your database is not healthy.
No, it's not.
It's not healthy. If mail is getting returned, it needs to be clean.
Agree.
But follow-up is just, it's not hard.
No.
But you need to make time for it. You feel like you can just put it off.
Putting it on your schedule once a week is probably wise. definitely once a month, but actually putting it on your schedule.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be a long time. You could probably sit for an hour and crank out quite a lot of emails and texts if you needed to.
And I mean, my Trello pipeline, those are like my people that
active, like, transactions.
I'm in there all week.
Well, because I'm working them.
Yeah, I'm working them. The prospects column, which is the people
that get forgotten.
But that's at least bi-week, every other week, monthly.
I think that's good.
He can't go longer than a month, though.
No.
It would you'd lose them.
They lose their own momentum.
Unless it's someone that you have labeled, like, for 3 years from now, they mentioned.
Yeah, then you please don't contact them every month.
But for follow-up also, I know we've talked a lot about buyer searches and whatnot. If you own a home, and whether you're a past client, family that has always lived in their home, even though I didn't help you because you bought before, people that were on our wedding list that own homes, that weren't past clients of mine, they are on a subdivision report.
Yeah, I like that.
For their subdivision.
Yeah.
It's once a month, and it just is simple. Here's all the active pending sold.
Yeah.
It has my face on it.
I like that.
I have never really had anyone unsubscribe.
Right.
Because it's not...
Everybody wants to know that.
Everybody wants to know what their subdivision's doing.
Yeah.
It's not annoying information.
No.
It's not all about me.
Nope.
You can click and see the pictures.
I like it.
I've actually had someone email me and ask me to add, like, their coworker.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm showing my coworker, and he asked if there was one for his subdivision.
Sure is.
I was like, there's one for every subdivision.
I got you, dude.
But, like, even if it's someone that owns a home, just keeping them on that subdivision report, because it's good information.
It is. It's very good. I like it. Okay, we had quite a few people ask for this one.
Great.
I think I'm going to shout them out. Selena Michelle, I think, wanted ways to follow up a lead.
Okay.
Tanya Hobbs wanted creative ways to communicate during the listing.
Okay.
I think we got that. And Ashley Harn wanted to follow up with cold leads.
Okay.
Which we basically are like
we've covered everything.
Say goodbye.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, like, you don't have to have 3 different methods for everything.
No.
Stick with what works. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. You don't have to, like, send them a singing telegram to their office. No. Remind them who you are.
Yeah, I agree.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. We can all handle this.
One last thing.
Please.
If you do have, like, a MailChimp or an email list, I don't have, like, a newsletter or something that goes out.
Okay.
But sometimes, like, the lender I work with will send, like, this week's rates.
Like, good information.
And I'm like, dang, I wish, So, if you have a group, you can just forward that email to that group and just say, hey, guys, one of the lenders I work with sent me this. I know a lot of people are asking me about interest rates, so I wanted to share it. Or... hey guys, the power washer I use is doing a special. It's $75 off.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
If you use him, let him know I referred you. Things like that where I am not trying to, like, content plan and schedule. But if I get something cool that I want to share with the masses, I can just send it because they're all in a group. So I do think it's good to have some sort of MailChimp or some sort of software group that allows you to do something
quick
like that.
Mass email.
Just if you wanted to, like, tell them something.
I think that's fine. It works too if you want to tell them about your new listing.
Yeah.
Or something like, not all the time. Don't overdo that.
Open house invitation.
Oh, yeah. That kind of stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you ready for toast?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I love it. Today we're going to toast to our neighbor in Texas. Oh, let's see. Jennifer Ware.
Okay.
And Jennifer sent us a delightful email.
Oh, I loved her email.
And I'm going to read y'all a little excerpt from it because it was so good. Well, let's see.
And it kind of goes with what we talked about today.
A little bit. Okay, so she says, I'm pretty much giddy over y'all's podcast and content. I'm not really sure how I stumbled across the podcast, but I'm so happy that I did. The content is exactly the practical advice that agents need, and the episodes are so concise, to the point, but also filled with personality. Okay, she purchased the email templates a few weeks ago and is finishing up personalizing them. She says, I think they're going to be such a breath of fresh air for my business.
Perfect.
Okay, here's my favorite part. And let's give a shout out to the magic that is Trello for a second. I'm pretty much obsessed and use it for every single thing in my life now. She says, Christmas list, Trello. Essential oil inventory, Trello. I have 99 problems, and between Trello and coffee, it's down to like 3. So good.
Trello solves so many problems.
So many problems. Okay, so we wanted to toast to Jennifer because, first of all, that made my day.
That email.
So good. And she said she's a low volume agent, but the tips and content are helping her to like change the game. So
good.
I think that's great. So
Yeah.
we're proud of you, Jennifer, and we thank you for taking the time to send us a sweet message.
Yeah.
And we wanted to toast to you.
Made our day.
I know. Cheers to Jennifer.
Cheers.
Okay, bye y'all.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast. Let us know who we should toast to for the next episode.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hustle Humbly Podcast. If you have an episode, topic, or question, please email us at hustlehumblypodcast@gmail.com.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. See you next week. Bye.
This is the good life.